Let's see, here we go. Good morning. It is Friday morning. It is 9 a.m. Welcome to the Happy Huddle, where we get together every Friday morning from 9 to 9:30 so that we can learn and share and, most importantly, practice regularly our habits of happiness. So here we go, everybody. Today, we are learning about willpower and how willpower does not work. Ooh, gosh, all we learn about, all we talk about is how we need willpower. And there's so many things we need willpower about. We need willpower for work. We need willpower for weight. We need willpower for a healthy relationship. We need willpower for everything. So it just doesn't, what are we going to do? Well, I think the key that we're learning about right now is willpower alone doesn't work. So don't worry. I got to tell you, it's not really about like you just don't ever have to have willpower. I mean, the reality is if you're trying to lose weight and you're sitting in front of a big cupcake, you know what? There's a little bit. But we're going to talk about all the ways that we can resist short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. All right? Let's define willpower first. This is so important. Again, willpower alone, but let's talk about what we mean by willpower. The ability to delay gratification, resisting short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals, right? Long-term goal is we want to be healthy. We want to have healthy relationships. But the short-term immediate gratification is that big piece of chocolate cake or that cigarette or that glass of wine or lots of different things that are tempting to us because we are just human beings. It started with Adam and Eve, by the way. So it's not just us, it's in our DNA. The capacity to override an unwanted thought, feeling, or impulse. Now remember, we've talked a lot about our mindset and our mind chatter, and we want to override some of those negative thoughts we have too. So willpower isn't just about cupcakes and alcohol and cigarettes. It's also about the thoughts and the feelings we have about those. The ability to employ a cool cognitive system of behavior rather than a hot emotional system. And a conscious, effortful regulation of the self by the self, a limited resource capable of being depleted. What the what? Yeah, so I don't know if you've been following the research as much as I do, but willpower is a limited resource. It's energy that can be used up. So isn't that true? Do you ever notice that at the end of the day, it's way harder to resist temptation? It's way harder to say no to that desire at the end of the day because we have been inundated all day with choices and decisions and things we have to say no to and things we have to control ourselves at work around people we may not want to control ourselves around. So all of those things are depleting this resource that we have of willpower and self-discipline. So one of the first books I read about willpower a long time ago is The Willpower Instinct by Dr. Kelly McGonigal. I loved this book so much. I live near Stanford, and I actually I just have to meet her. I have to meet her, and I'm not even kidding you. One day she walked by my work on the street, and it was really embarrassing because I kind of attacked her with the "oh my God" like as a crazy fan. She doesn't walk down that street anymore. But anyway, I digress. So she breaks it down into 3 things that are really helpful. Again, you know, one of my favorite quotes, I repeat it all the time, is Einstein's, "You can't solve a problem with the same mind that got you into the problem." So we're going to learn little tricks and little thoughts and just little things you can put in your mind that might just switch a little thing here, a little thing there. So when she breaks willpower down into 3 different categories. I won't power, which is the resisting the urge. I won't eat cupcakes. I won't smoke cigarettes. I won't cheat on my wife or my husband. And then there's the I will power, and it's helps you do what's uncomfortable but important. I will work out. I will choose healthy food. I will be nice to my boss. I like my boss, so that's not really, but anyway. Number 3, I want power. And that's the force that allows you to remember your long-term goals. What do you really, really want? We talk about it a little bit more in the next coming slides, but knowing what you want is clearly the most important place to start. If you don't want to get healthy, and if you don't want to have a healthy relationship, then all of these other things aren't going to work. So it's super important to know those 3. And remember, I go through these kind of quickly, but if you subscribe on my website for free, it's all free, everything I do is free, but it allows you to get in, you subscribe at Happy Huddle, at happierbytheminute.com, you can go back and look at this one. And by the way, if you see in the corner there, it says 26, that means there's 25 before this of half-hour Happy Huddles with amazing, if I do say so myself, information. So if I go through too quickly, you can always go back and see these slides and watch this recording. One of my favorite books, favorite people, you hear about this all the time. If you haven't, I feel super honored to be the first person to enlighten you into the marshmallow test. Anybody that studies self-discipline or self-control or willpower will somehow circle back to the marshmallow test by Walter Mischel. He was, and I've heard him speak at Stanford, he's brilliant. He was at Stanford in the 1960s and 70s where they did these series of tests with children where they put them in a room and they put a plate with one marshmallow in front of them and they said, look, and these are 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. And they said, here's one marshmallow. If you can wait for 15 minutes, when I come back, you'll get 2 marshmallows. I'll give you another one. But if you want to eat the first one, you can. No problem. Just ring this little bell and let me know you want to eat it and eat it. This was huge. This was huge because some of the children ate it right away. Some of the children smelled it and licked it. There aren't any videos, believe me, I searched on the original video, but lots of people have recreated this and they get the same responses from children all the time, which is they're smelling it, they're licking it, they're like, oh, why is it taking so long? They're, you know, the kids that did the best are the ones that just turned their eyes away from it and didn't look at it or hid it under the table. All of these things are super, super important because what they found is they watched these kids over the next 20, 30, 40 years, and they found that self-discipline was more important than IQ in predicting academic success. And the individuals with high self-control, these young kids, as they watched them over the years, the self-control in childhood grew into adults with greater physical and mental health, fewer substance abuse problems and criminal convictions, and better savings behavior and financial security. So they found that these children did better. Now, trust me, I ran out, got a marshmallow, tested my kids, but that doesn't really work. And the most important thing, and I heard this out of Walter Mischel's mouth himself, was it can be learned. Because at the time he was doing all this research, he was a smoker. And he didn't know, he was like, oh my gosh, I'm doomed. You're not doomed. If you were a child that would have eaten the marshmallow or your child eats the marshmallow right away, you're not doomed. It's all learnable. But I had to mention this because teaching your children, teaching yourself wherever you are in your life, self-control will help you be better in everything for the rest of your life. No question about it. The other book that is really popular is Willpower. Roy Baumeister has done a ton of research, and his success in achieving goals is, you know, simply establish the motivation, the why, monitor the behavior toward the goal, and exercise your willpower. Whether your goal is to lose weight or kick smoking, it's really critical to use your willpower. Okay, but if I had enough willpower, and we all had enough willpower, we wouldn't be the most obese country in the world. We wouldn't be the unhealthiest. We wouldn't have smokers. We wouldn't have people doing drugs. So clearly there needs to be more. Don't worry, there's more. And remember, there's willpower depletion. And the things that deplete our willpower, for example, are people pleasers. So people who are always doing something for someone else because you want to look good or you want them to feel good, that is going to deplete your own power for yourself. Choices, again, multiple choices throughout the day, all day long, are depleting it. and self-control. The more that we have to, start in the beginning of the day. If your house is full of junk food and you have to start your morning with saying no to bad cereal and then to a bad morning snack and then to bad lunch, you're doomed by the end of the day. So what does work? The most important finding in all the research that I have done and multiple people have done is your environment. Your environment will shape who you are, but it will also make it harder or easier for you to manage your willpower and your discipline. So avoiding temptation. If you don't want to drink, don't go out with people that drink. And it sounds simple, and it isn't in the beginning, but it is a muscle, and you will work it out, and you do have to layer on top of it. You have to get rid of all that junk food that is in your house. I know that it sounds simple, but it isn't easy. And you just have to get support that does it. Down there it says good support. You have to surround yourself with the right people. Do you know that you are what is more likely to determine your weight is more important, sorry, I'm trying to phrase it right, more important than your gene code in depicting or in your weight is your zip code. Where you live is more influential on your weight and your likelihood to gain weight than your genes. About that. Who are you hanging out with? What are they doing? Your environment. Who do you surround yourself with? Anybody who is doing the things that are difficult for you to avoid, just be careful. And you can't get rid of everybody in your life, I get it, but be aware, be mindful. This is a great new book just out, Benjamin Hardy, and he says, shape your environment so willpower isn't necessary. It's really key. Shape your environment so willpower isn't necessary. Remove the temptations. It's also, going to sacred spaces where you can do your meditation, going to sacred spaces where you can work and do the things that you want to do. A place where you don't have your Facebook and you don't have your Instagram feed so that you can do your work. You can go into deep work and not be distracted. Being educated. This is also what you want to do in order to learn. I didn't do that one perfectly, but that's okay. Permission to be human. Being educated. So is it weakness or is it natural instinct? Is it weakness or are we victim of the food industry? There's a great author, Robert Lustig. He's a doctor in San Francisco who's been working with child obesity for many years. And what he realized is the sugar is what is killing people. And so if you are trying to lose weight, get educated about the food industry and what they're doing and how difficult it is. Like we're trying to fight a losing battle. We are swimming upstream when we're trying to lose weight and when we're trying to eat healthy, whether it's about weight or not, when we're just trying to be healthier. And one of his books is Sugar Has 56 Names. Well, actually by now that has 84 names. And so if you're trying to avoid sugar, it's almost impossible because it's in like 90% of the food that you eat, in soup, in sugar, and you practically don't know it because they give you so many fake names. Anyway, so just get educated about where, why you're having so much trouble with the impulse. And also just knowing that it's our natural instinct, that we're born to want to eat, for example, to want to eat sugar and to, when we would see a berry bush, we would want to eat it and we'd want to eat as much as we possibly could because it was scarce. But it's not scarce anymore. My God, everywhere you turn, it's there. So just get educated, start watching documentaries about exercise and health. And that's motivating. You want to find those things. The pause and plan response. This is something else that's going to help you increase your willpower so you don't have to use it alone. I put a little clip up there of Happy Huddle number 17 because it's a whole webinar about your worst enemy, which is that little voice in your head. one of the things we talk about in that webinar is to pause and reflect. By shifting your attention to the inner conflict, it gives you that short time buffer you need to make the better decision. So first of all, mindfulness. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're here because you're becoming self-aware. That is the first step in becoming better, healthier, stronger, more successful, all of that. Any little incremental bit that you want to be better, you're doing it. You already have taken the steps. So yay. So again, mindfulness. And then if then, you can also prepare so you can need less willpower. If I go to a party and there are cupcakes, then I'm going to go to the bathroom and guzzle a bunch of water out of the faucet. I am going to start a conversation with somebody on the other side of the room. If I go to a party that says it's going to be, dry with no drinking, then there's alcohol. I am going to leave. I'm going to call an Uber. Know before you go. Ooh, I should have written that. Know before you go what you're going to do. And then there's the high motivation. What's your motivation? Of course, Simon Sinek is amazing, and he's a wonderful author, and it helps you overcome your weakened willpower. Know why you want to be healthy. Know why you want to be successful. Know why you want to write that book. Know why you want to have a good relationship. Those are all the things that you can't start without those. Oh, this is a good one, and I got this one from Kelly McGonigal's book, The Willpower Instinct, which I have right here. See, it's good. So many great, and again, the more you read, the more you're going to be able to battle the food devil or the drinking devil or the bad behavior devil. So don't let past good behavior be an excuse for present bad behavior. This one is huge. I hear that this one, and for me too, but this is what gets most people in trouble. It's called moral licensing. I was so good, I deserve a little treat. I ate a salad, and so now I can have a little dessert. People, we tend to reward ourselves with something that we know is bad for us, and we think, I can do better. I did so well last week, all week, that I can have this cheat day. Well, why do you need a cheat day if you believe that those things aren't good for you? They're not good for your body. You wouldn't say, I want to be happily married, but I can have a cheat day. I've been so good for 10 years. One little cheat day is not going to hurt anything. Yeah, it is, and you know that. And it's easier to avoid those things when you have it really deep inside of you. So don't reward yourself with a little treat, because it's not a treat. It's something that you know. And again, I watch documentaries and YouTube talks and follow podcasts that are just literally changing my neural pathway and brainwashing me. For as much as the food industry wants to brainwash me every day, everywhere I go with eat this and you're gonna feel better if you eat this and drink this. No. I just have to close my eyes and brainwash myself with, I want healthy organic food, and this is what it does for my body. So just keep telling yourself that. There is no treat if it's something, it's not a treat if it's something that you don't want. You don't want it. So don't give yourself moral licensing and tell yourself, well, I had a Diet Coke, so now I can have a real Coke. Work the muscle. Regularly exert self-control. I mean, we do it all day, every day anyway. Be mindful of when you do it, and then tell yourself, gosh, I feel really good about that. Now, the balance between this is, again, that muscle gets weakened over time in a day, right? So you're going to deplete. So I'm not saying exert your self-control all in the morning and then you're going to be weak by the end of the day. But as you're using your self-control at a regulated pace throughout the day, throughout the week, it's going to get stronger. So you just need to find that balance. Oh, I love this picture I found. Focus on a single goal at a time. Somebody had this picture, New Year's resolution for 2009, cross off, 2010, cross off, 2011, lose weight, again, more, get fit next year, give up cigarettes and alcohol, okay, just drink less. Stand up to okay, find a job, try to be nice to my wife. Oh, next year, try to be nicer to my ex-wife. sort out the junk in the shed. Okay, there's junk in my life. Like, that's everybody. That picture just, it doesn't have any credit, so I can't credit anybody, but it really says so much about all of us. But as he said in Willpower Doesn't Work, and Baumeister, everybody says, look, just focus on a single goal at a time. Again, because your willpower is a depletable resource, don't spread it thin. Just try on one thing. Just focus on one thing. And if you're just trying to be healthy, start with the food. Don't worry about, or maybe it's just add vegetables for a couple weeks and then add more water and then start taking away things. And I will say that I'm doing a program that's completely shifting the way that I look at food and how I eat, called Wild Fit. And it absolutely works on this premise, and it has been super, super successful for so many people. So, but I'll keep you posted on that later. So this is a good one. And again, this is talked about in Willpower Doesn't Work. And I watched him be interviewed on a podcast. But he says financial commitment, invest with no return, and burn the bridge. There is a historian, Will Durant, who said, heroes don't shape history, demanding situations shape heroes. Oh, that was so mind-blowing to me, because like a financial commitment, for example, if you, there's a musician out there who believes that he wants to write a song, and the second he thinks about this song, he books the recording studio and the recording team and the musicians for 3 months ahead of time, and he pays them, and the money is there. Now you are motivated. You want to learn something, you pay for that course online. Now there's a financial commitment. I've tried to change some things about the way I eat for a long time. I made a financial commitment to Wild Fit, and boy, now I'm way more committed than just, okay, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and hope I don't eat sugar. No, make a financial commitment. And it's interesting because when you put your pressure on yourself like that, it really does make a difference. So put something out there like money, or a meeting, or an appointment, or some kind of, you're going to create something, and then you're going to tell everybody that you're going to create that workshop, or you're going to make that music, or you're going to lose that weight. And when people know, now you feel like there's some accountability. A perfect example is that I commit to coming here every Friday at 9 a.m. A lot of people can just watch it later. I could record it at a different time and just post it. But I made the commitment to show up at 9 every Friday morning, which means that it's usually Thursday night at 9 o'clock after the kids go to bed that I put together the presentation. And I've done a lot of research, but this is where I put it all together. Well, I will tell you, last night at 9:30, I was thinking, if I just did a replay, I was really struggling. I was like, if I just did a replay, nobody would really know. Do they really know that I put willpower, isn't going to work? And if I play something about mindset, and I can't do that because I made a commitment. And the pressure, and I just was like, oh, I can't think. And I was getting distracted by looking at my Instagram and I was so tired. I mean, last night, I haven't been sleeping well. So last night I was like, if I could just go to sleep, maybe I'll wake up at like 5 a.m. and do it. But I didn't. And this is why, even if only one person, and it's just my dad or just my friends, Robin and Laura, like, who just show up, or Happy Angie, I hope you're there too. Like, if just 3 people show up, I'm doing it for those 3 people. And if 300 people show up, I'm doing it for them. And if for nobody else, I'm doing it because I made the commitment to myself. And then you know what happens? It's magic. It's magic. It happens. I always come through. And then by midnight when I was done, I was like, actually, that was pretty good. And then I tweaked it a little bit this morning, and I was like, I'm so glad. I'm so glad I didn't give in. And thank you for showing up, because you're one of the reasons that I keep going. And so again, that pressure. So demanding situations shape heroes. And so put yourself in a demanding situation. Don't get complacent. Autopilot. Everybody knows who that autopilot, well, you have to be a little bit older to know that that's from the movie Airplane. But default settings, we fall back into default settings and we get complacent and we get lazy. It is our nature. It is just our nature. So please, please, please don't just get complacent. Keep pushing yourself, keep edging. I put in there, that's Happy Huddle number 7. That's about action. When you make a choice, the difference between making the choice and creating it and making it happen is just action. But then we need some things that motivate us into action. And so Happy Huddle number 7 is all about ways to engineer that. Reduce your decision fatigue, which is also, another word for willpower depletion, by ritualizing unimportant choices. So I'm sure you've seen, if you hadn't, now you know, that Steve Jobs wore the same thing all the time, every day. He wore a black t-shirt and jeans. That's what he wore. Do you know why he did that? And by the way, Mark Zuckerberg does that. Obama started doing that. He'd always wear a blue suit and a blue tie. It is because they did not want to spend one molecule, 1 ounce of energy on picking what to wear. Like, why? Why would I have so many big decisions to make? I have so many important things to do today that they would ritualize what they were going to wear. So they didn't have to think about it. Brilliant. Then take it further. Ritualize what you're going to have for breakfast. I mean, we like some diversity. So maybe it's 3 different things. One morning you're going to have a smoothie. The second morning you're going to have oatmeal. And the third morning you're going to have eggs. Like, make it simple so that you don't use up all your energy on the things that really don't matter. So as you go through your day today, think about it. Think about what you spend your time trying to decide on. Is it what you wear? Is it what you eat? Make it simple. Don't let all those things in your house. Only have a few things. Is it what you're going to read? Is it what you're going to watch on TV? Oh my gosh, everybody, we have so many things coming at us of all the things that we can watch. Just don't give yourself all those choices. I don't watch all those TV shows. I probably would be enjoying them and loving them, but I just don't give myself that choice because I want to use that space for learning and growing. I'm not saying everybody has to, but I have reduced that to where I don't have the choice. And it's working for me right now. It might be different later, but anyway. So I love that picture, and I am working. I'm not going to wear the same thing every day, but 90% of the time I'm wearing black pants or a black skirt. Keep it simple. And then, of course, there's positive moods, beliefs, and attitudes. Okay, positive moods, beliefs, and attitudes. That is absolutely going to help you. We are bombarded all day with challenges. We're bombarded with the news. I talk about it almost every week about how the news is depleting so much of your resources and your energy and your mind share and your attitude and your mood and your beliefs even, depending on what you're watching. So be careful. What you're putting in is impacting who you want to be. And so all of these webinars before here, the 25 before this, all my little 1-minute videos on my website, Happier by the Minute, those all are how to improve your mood, how to change your beliefs, and how to up-level your attitude, all of those things. So take the time to learn them and use them and grow with them. And then send me questions, because these are the things that are going to help you be happier by the minute. So like I said, you can join the Happy Huddle. You can subscribe. It'll send you notifications. It's all for free. You can see the 24 before this, the 25 before this. I'm going to show up every Friday at 9 a.m., whether I slept or not the night before, to bring you more learning and more growing and more information so that you can be happier by the minute. I'm so grateful that you give me your time. It helps me be a better person every single week. And I just Really appreciate you. Please don't hesitate to join me on Instagram. That's where a lot of extra tips are happening with Stacey, not Stacey, at Happier by Minute. There's stuff going on at Facebook, so please join me. And always feel free to send me questions or anything that you want me to know or ask. So awesome. Have an awesome day. Love you.